That is the Morph Array, and that, of course, is Jerry. The Morph Array is used in Ratchet & Clank to turn your enemies into chickens.
No, wait, before you do that, just explain to me how it's gonna work.
Oh, it worked. Jerry's a chicken. Are you sure we can turn him back, Jerry?
The Morph Array, one of 36 weapons and gadgets not fit for this world. Rated T for teen.
Those weapons test commercials were fantastic, though. I do have a question. If you turn a person into a chicken and then you eat that chicken, would that be cannibalism? Good evening, folks. Welcome to the Game Reserve. My name is Jagger Newman, and I'm the war in these parts. And yeah, another pre-recorded video for you guys. I've got plans tonight and wouldn't be able to make the showcase, so wanted to make sure I left a video for you guys to watch in my absence. And tonight I am covering Ratchet & Clank. This game was released in 2002, exclusively for the PlayStation 2. And was created by Insomniac Games, who at the time were probably best known for the Spyro series. Spyro was one of the biggest franchises on the original PlayStation. All three of the games did gangbusters at retail, and they also played a big hand in moving hardware as well. A lot of people bought the original PlayStation just to play Spyro. So because of that, as the third game was nearing the end of its production, Sony started going to Insomniac and inquiring about making them a second-party developer for Sony Computer Interactive. And that is a deal that Insomniac just couldn't pass up. So when their deal with Universal Games expired, they opted not to renew in favor of signing the contract with Sony. Unfortunately, this meant that they were going to have to leave Spyro behind, as that franchise was wholly owned by Universal Interactive, despite the fact that Insomniac Games was 100% responsible for its production. That also left Insomniac with a bit of a problem when it came time to start brainstorming ideas for their new PlayStation 2 game. One thing that they knew they wanted to do was they wanted the game to have the same wide appeal that Spyro did, but they also didn't want to just, create a clone of Spyro. They wanted to do something new, since they had to make a new franchise anyway. And they took a very pragmatic approach to it. They just did the opposite of what they did with Spyro. Instead of playing as a reptilian dragon, you're instead playing as a mammalian alien. Instead of a medieval fantasy setting, it was a sci-fi space setting. And instead of a beginner's platformer that focused more on exploration than anything, Ratchet & Clank, as the game would come to be known, would focus more on action with a greater degree of platforming and combat. When the game released in 2002, it was an enormous success. It quickly became one of the flagship games for the original PlayStation 2. And, by the end of the console's life cycle, Ratchet and Clank were essentially the faces of the console. This really was the franchise for a couple of years. Unfortunately, after the PS2 bit the dust, while Insomniac would never leave Ratchet and Clank behind, the series would never be able to reach the same levels of success that they had on the original PlayStation 2. Ratchet and Clank's star has really faded for one reason or another, which is a shame because even outside of the original PS2 games, the Ratchet and Clank series still is a very high quality franchise, with the most recent game in the series, Rift Apart, being one of the absolute best games, if not the best game, for the PlayStation 5. But I've talked enough about this, and I'm really excited to play Ratchet and Clank, so let's just go ahead and get started with it. And even today, that's still a huge market quality in the industry. Whereas I get less excited for a, what is it? A Sucker Punch or Naughty Dog. I'm always excited for an Insomniac Games one. As far as this title screen, I do like the atmosphere late at night, working in the garage. Kind of reminds me of Indiana. Though, I feel like the Ratchet & Clank logo is just a little overdone. It feels like they're trying a little too hard with that, but that's just my own personal opinion. I have you now. You're going down. Pull up, pull up. Alright, first task, we gotta go save Clank. Okay, so...
Gadgetron Help Desk. We are here to offer you advice during your interplanetary travels. The Help Desk is a free service provided by Gadgetron Corporation.
Yeah, thanks a lot, lady. Alright, so the first thing we always talk about are the controls, and so far the controls are pretty good. So, like, Ratchet takes a little bit to build up the momentum with his run, so you just tap the stick, and he takes a step forward, but if you hold it, he'll slowly build up to a nice jog. Control feels a little bit weird. That's probably because it's set to, what is it? Inverted by default for some reason, so you just change all that, and now it's how it should be. For your jump feels pretty good. You can do a double jump, which, it doesn't really give you much air time, but it does keep you in the air a little bit longer, which is helpful. And your attack, to start with, is the Omni Wrench. It's got a simple 3-hit combo, but you can also delay it a little bit to sort of time your swings better. Jump up in the air, you can swing it down like that. And if you crouch and throw it, you can throw it like a boomerang, so pretty useful item. And you also have the Bong Glove to start off with, so you just hit the circle button, and you can blow shit up. But let's go ahead and save Clank. So yeah, it feels pretty good to whack stuff. A lot of fun destroying those boxes as well. And collecting up the bolts is really satisfying too. Like, that sound effect, like, it just feels good to collect stuff in this game. It's kind of like the ring sound effect in Sonic. Like, the wrench is best used for small fry enemies like that. And you can time it to hit 2 at once with the strike. They go down with 1 hit. No, it feels really good.
You can interrupt help desk messages by...
Yeah, that's a good thing to know. Jump overall feels really tight. Not having any issues with that. I can't think of another genre of game where control is more important than in a platformer. So that right there is your health. You got about 4 hit points to start with. And I like how even if you break the box, it just stays there. So if you take a hit, you can come back for it. As far as the presentation is concerned, it was also pretty stellar for the time. As I said, the animations here are incredibly detailed with lots of points of articulation. And despite how detailed and big a lot of the levels and backgrounds can be, even on the original PlayStation, Ratchet & Clank ran pretty smoothly, even when things got busy on screen. Insomniac Games just always made it a point to optimize the hell out of this game. Now we get into some more powerful enemies with ranged attacks. This is where you want to use the Bomb Glove. So you can see that cursor over there telling you where your Bomb Glove will land. Also kind of gives you an idea of its trajectory. It's a little annoying when they move like that, though.
Press the circle button to equip it, and the circle button again to follow it. You can also use it in first person by holding down the L1 button.
Yeah, so one thing a lot of people might be wondering what I'm not doing here is how come I'm not strafing? Well, that's because in this first Ratchet and Clank game, you can't actually strafe until much later in the game when you unlock the jetpack for Clank. So for this game, you're constantly having to dodge attacks, point yourself towards the enemy, and hope that you can get some hits in before they send some projectiles after you. It's not really a huge issue here. Most of the game is designed around the fact that you can't strafe, so I wouldn't really say it's a huge problem, but it does lead the combat in the first Ratchet and Clank to feel just a tad clunky.
Interesting. You're happy with your wrench?
You bet. I built that ship with it.
The meeting of two video game
Be of
icons.
assistance in saving the solar system. Do you know where I might find that fellow?
Well, he's on the radio every week. Other than that, no. Hey, what's with all this save the solar system stuff anyway?
And now it's time for one of the greatest villain introductions ever.
Citizens of my base of the blog have a small problem. Our planet has become so polluted, overpopulated, and poisonous that we are no longer able to dwell here. But I, Chairman Drek, have a solution. We are constructing a pristine new world using the choicest planetary components available. So, what does this mean to you, you might ask? Using highly sophisticated technology, which you couldn't possibly understand, we will be extracting a large portion of your planet and adding it to our new one. Unfortunately, this change in mass will cause your planet to spin out of control and drift into the sun, where it will explode into a flaming ball of gas. But, of course, sacrifices must be made. Thank you for your cooperation. And if you don't like it, you can take your whiny, sniveling, snot-nosed populations, form a line behind me, and kiss my...
Ah!
Look, turn it off, you idiot!
Oh my god, I love Chairman Drek. He's just like the epitome of the evil businessman trope in video games. Like, that whole presentation is almost like a corporate announcement at work, you know, telling people all the things that are going on at whatever company you work at and saying it with a very friendly and disarming smile, even if it's bad news that they're giving. And, you know, disrespecting the intelligence of his audience, not even bothered to say the name of the planet that he's addressing because he doesn't want to make more than one video. And of course, showing his true colors when he thinks that the camera is off. It's just one of the best intros ever. I always thought Ratchet was a better pilot than that, but come to think of it, he's crashed a lot of ships in his day, hasn't he?
Sorry about that. Well, we're not leaving the way we came in.
Perhaps we could procure a ship from one of the inhabitants.
If there are any left.
By the way, if Ratchet's voice actor sounds a little off, that's primarily because it's not the person you expect to be voicing them. Ratchet is primarily known for the performance by James Arnold Taylor. That's always been his voice actor since the second game of the series. But in this first game, he's actually voiced by Mike Kelly. And that definitely makes this game a little weird going back to, because, you know, you get so used to James Arnold Taylor's performance, which just sounds so natural and believable for the character, that, what's his name? Taylor's performance just ends up No, it sounds like Ratchet has a runny nose or something that he stuffed up.
Has this ever happened to you? Hi, I'm
Actually,
Captain
yes.
Quark, and believe me, there's nothing worse than staring down a Blargian Snagglebeast from the inside and knowing your equipment isn't functioning properly. That's why I come to Al's Robo Shack for all my electronic needs. Al has been the exclusive repair shop for my super electro gadgets since I was knee-high to a sand mouse. If Al can't fix it, it's not broke. Right, Al? You said it, pal. So if you're fighting crime, or just fighting grime, come to Al's Robo Shack in Metropolis for all your robotic repairs. Al's Robo Shack, it's Quarktastic.
Yeah, Captain Quark is voiced by Jim Ward, and he does a fantastic job vocalizing the character. I'm glad he became a series staple.
If we had a ship.
What? A ship? What? You're not going to torture me? Well, as planetary chairman, I could arrange for you to borrow our courier ship.
Cool.
You can count on us, sir.
Right. Thank you, your chairman shipliness.
Gadgetron Infobots.
Okay, so a couple things that we need to address. Ratchet's appearance. In case you're wondering what Ratchet is, he's what's called a Wombax, a combination of a lynx, a lion, and some other alien, not alien, feline that I can't recall at the moment. And to be honest, I'm not a big fan of how Ratchet looks in the early games. I don't know, his eyes and his eyebrows look a little too big, and his mouth is a little too wide too. He often looks like a Muppet in the cutscenes. Most of the characters in this game, I feel, are pretty well designed, but they wouldn't get Ratchet's design right until it came time for him to go HD. And I'd be lying if I said that Ratchet was a very likable character in this game, because honestly, he's kind of a douche. He tends to act very selfishly when interacting with other people, and he tends to treat Clank very badly. He gets the two into a lot of trouble, and when it happens, he blames Clank for it for some reason. Like, yeah, they really want to get Ratchet's character right until the second game.
I got some great bargains for you today.
So this is why I was collecting up bolts. Throughout the game, you'll find, you can buy more weapons at this vendor as well as ammo, so I can restock right here. And this is good because it allows you to expand the arsenal and give Ratchet more items to use. So you got the flamethrower here, so just a short-range flamethrower, another good weapon that's for fodder control if there's more than the wrench can handle. Pretty good starting weapon. Something else that's interesting about the structure of Ratchet and Clank is that while the game is mostly linear, there is still some exploration to it. There are different sections of the level that you need to explore in order to find stuff like infobots, to find new planets, also upgrades to explore in different parts of the levels. I actually really like the structure here because it keeps things linear, but also has a system in place where you want to revisit older levels and explore them to a greater degree. So before we leave, let's go ahead and check out the rest of the planet. Like how the music changes. Another thing I really like about the linear approach is that it puts a little more focus on the platforming. One of the problems I always had with the Spyro series it was more about exploration than it was platforming. And that made it a little dull to play, but that's also par for the course with games from that time period.
Dad, blast it!
Look, plumber's crack.
What did you just say?
I said, look, the plumber's back.
All right, wise guy. Shouldn't you be on one of them escape transports?
Escape transports?
Newsflash, giant robots attacking! The escape transports are taking all the rich folks off this goddamn planet.
So why aren't you on one?
Socioeconomic disparity.
What?
He hasn't got enough bolts.
Working people have to wait for Captain Quark to save us.
Well, got anything worth a lot of bolts?
I got this thing. Shows two weirdos ditching their ship. It's got coordinates to a desert planet, too.
An infobot. Ratchet, we could use that.
Yeah, so at certain points in the game, you will have to pay some bolts in order to get an item, and I'm not really fond of that. I would just prefer you get it by getting there, because it's really annoying to go through a platforming section like that and be told that you can't progress because you happen to be short on bolts. But I have enough here, so we should be good.
Geronimo!
Did he just slide down a sewer pipe?
Nah. The plumber would actually go on to become a heavily recurring character in the series. He always seems to pop out at the most random times.
Whoa, that was close.
Ah! Pipe down, I can't concentrate.
But we've been hit.
An unexpected detour. When we land, I'll see if I can scare up an exhibition for you.
We're not gonna live that long.
Kid, let's scream.
Eject! Eject!
And like, dude, just look at that background, like all the detail on the buildings and everything, the other flying cars going around. Like, this is just a really good looking game for the PlayStation 2. It might not have been as powerful as the Xbox or the GameCube, but you can still do some damn impressive things with the technology. Something tells me that's not the real Quark.
Welcome to the Captain Quark Fitness Course. If you're strong enough, fast enough, and clever enough to beat my fitness challenge, you will receive a reward from my head trainer. Simply make your way to the third island to complete the course. Good luck. Quark Enterprises is not responsible for sprains, broken bones, snapped tendons, bruised egos, or accidental death incurred while taking the challenge.
Excuse me, Captain, but we have more pressing issues. We urgently need your assistance.
Clank?
Yes?
Do you notice anything unusual about Captain Quark?
Well, I find the fact that he has a spring where his leg should be to be quite puzzling.
And why do you think that is?
Possibly an injury incurred while battling evil?
This isn't the real Captain Quark, you numbskull. It's a robot.
Oh.
God, Ratchet is such a douche in this game. The Ratchet I know would never talk to Clank like that. Like, in the modern framework of the games, like, Ratchet and Clank just have this really beautiful camaraderie, and with a lot of their adventures challenging their friendship, too, in a lot of interesting and compelling ways. Like, the PS2 games, they're all about, you know, the humor, and that's primarily why the first game was so fondly remembered. But, you know, the Ratchet & Clank series did grow up with its audience without ever compromising the broad appeal either. It's a shame that those PlayStation 3 games are so underrated. Yeah, so you have a wall jump in the game, but it's a pretty situational run. Nitro Rad often heavily criticizes this type of wall jump where you can only use it on specific walls. And I kind of second that because it, you know, it really sort of trivializes the player's moveset.
Sweet. I bet Captain Quark uses stuff like this all the time.
Ha! Real men can swing without silly toys like that. The two of you make me sick.
Congratulations.
I swear, a lot of characters in this game are not friendly at all. Yep. Screwed that up. So yeah, get a new toy to play with the slingshot. So you see a green orb like that, you hit the circle button, Ratchet sort of zips to it, and then you got yellow ones like that. You can swing off of them. Again, adding to Ratchet's moveset in a meaningful way.
Ratchet, that's the man we saw on the infobot. Remember? He knows Captain Quark.
Hey, you're that robot guy, right?
No, actually, I build robots. I myself am not a robot guy, per se.
Nerd.
I like him.
So,
I like him too. He's charming.
what can I do for you?
Well, we saw your infobot announcement. You were with Captain Quark. We're trying to find Captain Quark. We thought you could help us.
Your logic is commendable. However, I haven't seen Captain Quark since we shot that commercial. Say, do you run on standard XP18 sister boards?
Version 7.66.
Back at ya. I may be able to help you out after all. How does a helipack upgrade sound?
Upgrade?
Natch. Since he's a 766, I could have the little guy up and flying in no time. Of course, I'll just need my fee for service.
Clank is pretty on point in this game, though. He's just always had this charming, nerdy quality to him. He's just a really nice character.
Okay, this won't hurt a bit.
Hey, wait. Ratchet, am I cool now?
Yeah, you the man, Clank.
You're welcome.
Yeah, so Clank actually does serve a purpose in the game. He's not just riding shotgun for Ratchet. Not only are there points in the game where you actually get to play as Clank, but now that you got the helipack design, he can assist Ratchet with his platforming. So you crouch, you can do a high jump. It allows you to reach new areas. And if you run, hold the crouch button, then jump, you can do a long jump, like so. So, adding to the controls in a meaningful way. And I like how in later games, some of these upgrades you get carry over, and the helipack has always been one of them. It's sort of become the iconic ability for Clank as a character. You can also use it to glide, which makes the platform a little more seamless. Later on, you get a jetpack variant, which allows you to do a lot of the same things, but it also allows you to hover along the ground, which is how you strafe in this game. Like right there, I wish I could start shooting at those guys while I was in the air. But unfortunately, given the controls, I wasn't able to do that because I had to hold the jump button instead of hit the circle button to use my weapons. In later games, they would start mapping using the weapons to the shoulder buttons, which definitely made the combat more seamless because it freed up your thumbs for adjusting the camera to aim, as well as hitting the jump button.
Greetings, Executive Chairman Drek. Dispense with the pleasantries, Lieutenant. My sources tell me you're behind schedule. You must prepare this planet to be harvested for our...
Why does he say it like schedule? It's schedule, asshole.
And as your former commander can tell you, I don't take disappointment well.
Yes, sir. I won't fail.
Drek is destroying yet another planet.
Yeah, but if that's the kind of help he's getting, I don't think we have anything to worry about.
You should not underestimate Chairman Drek. He is quite dangerous. We must find Captain Quark.
Look, that lieutenant doesn't seem so tough. Let's take him out ourselves.
Perhaps we can persuade the lieutenant to tell us where Drek is.
Now you're talking.
Yeah, I mean, why do we need Captain Quark, so let's just go kick Chairman Drek's ass. So over the course of the game, sometimes you'll get to points where you can't progress because you don't have a certain item. So you'll have to go to another stage in order to find it before you can progress. For example, at some point in the game you get to visit Chairman Drek's homeworld, and it's so polluted that Ratchet can't survive on the planet until he gets an oxygen mask. So until you find the oxygen mask on another level, you can only explore as Clank. So it actually is really good design because it encourages you to revisit previous levels. without it being too obnoxious. And we got our next item, the Trespasser.
Using the latest in precision laser technology.
So how this works is pretty simple. You step on this platform, hit the circle button, and then you gotta line up all the lasers.
Use the left analog stick to control the
There
Trespasser.
we go.
Push up and down to select which ring is active. Push left and right to rotate the ring.
Hop on the elevator. Takes us back down to about where we started. So that's the 1 hour mark, so that'd probably be a good place to stop. Okay, so the original Ratchet and Clank, it's still a really fun game all these years later. Though the story is certainly a little sloppy with its writing and Ratchet's general characterization. Everyone else is still very entertaining. Clank, Chairman Drek, everyone else, they're very on point, very funny, and very memorable. The graphics still impress on so many levels, like the backgrounds are just incredibly detailed and all runs at a silky smooth frame rate as well. Art design is great as well, music is fun. The gameplay is showing a little bit of age to it. Combat is really clunky, and because of that, it's probably not as exciting as later games in the series, but it's still pretty well designed around Ratchet's moveset. And though there are some difficulty issues that crop up later, mostly due to the fact that when you die, you don't get your ammo back. Yeah, it's still a really fun game. So if you're a fan of Ratchet and Clank, but you've never played the original game, I highly recommend giving it a shot. You just have to keep in mind that you're going to have to play this in a different way compared to how you would play other games in the series.